Good morning, girlfriends and guy friends. Good morning, good morning. This is Angela Jordan Perry with Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. And I am so excited. Woohoo! We're about to get started. And put on my lip gloss here. We have a wonderful guest. She is in sunny Florida. And so here we are. Let's see. We're going to get her on here. Good morning. Good morning. When you all come on in, let me know where you are coming in live from. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Woo-hoo. Good morning. I'm sorry. She's not from Florida. She is from Alabama. Alabama, not Florida. Good morning, my beautiful girl. Hey, Annie. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have to, good morning, Michelette. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, but if I remember correctly, you're my friend from California. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Let's see if I can get my lighting just right. So we have a little technical difficulty. My computer wanted to lock up, so I had to restart it. But it'll be available to see in just a little bit. Yours did too?
I did too.
You know what? Hey, good morning from Georgia. Good morning. You know, yesterday, my interview, we had, I think it was yesterday or Tuesday, actually. We started off in the morning with our regular time and everything just kept locking up. Good morning. Where are you from, Michelle? Remind me. And we just could not, it just kept stopping. And she just felt like she had a message in her bosom she had to say. And so we knew what that was all about. So you know what? We said, you know, we're going to take 5 hours, not take 5 minutes, take 5 hours and we come back. We had to pray and fast on that interview, let me tell you, because it had never happened as it did yesterday, but we got it through. On. If you didn't see that interview with Camara Green out of Pennsylvania, it was fire and it was ordained. So here we go again, locking up computers. What you got to say, Miss Christina?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Hello from California. Yes. So we're going to get started, get these tech things up. But while we're waiting, go ahead and let us know where you're coming in from. Homeschooling moms and dads, girlfriends. Let us know where you're viewing us from. And if you go ahead and hit the share button, that'd be great. Share and let other homeschool moms, your friends, your girlfriends, guy friends, considering homeschool girlfriends, let them know about this show so that they can log in and get some encouragement. We had a great interview last night with my baby brother out of Virginia, Cujo, Kabulan Cujo, Niami Jordan. That's a mouthful, but that's my baby brother. And so... Woo! Hello. Let's see if I can, I don't think I can share it from here, but at any rate, we're going to get started. Maybe you can share it into Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. Are you on two things going on right now?
I'm trying to, and I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on because we always have good, decent enough service. And this morning, when you have something important going on, it's saying I don't have any service.
Of course, yeah. That's how it works. Sometimes.
I don't understand why
I tend to think some of these mishaps, quote unquote mishaps, are
quote unquote mishap.
Some divine, lovely divine interventions. So I have to put my oils on. Angelica, I forgot to do that.
Yes.
So, but we know what that's all about, but it's all good. Woo! All right, we're going to get started. Thanks, girlfriends, for joining in. All right, well, good morning. You ready, girlfriend? We're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning,
I'm always ready. Yes.
Yes, we're girlfriends. This is Angela Jordan Perry, Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. And I am delighted to be with you this morning. I'm in South Carolina. Sun is shining. We got a beautiful mountain. We can see our mountain view today. It's clear skies.
Wow.
And it's gorgeous. The animals are happy, have just got fed. My kids are eating breakfast. So, woo, it's a wonderful day on the Perry Farm, which is called Shine Bright Farm, if you don't know, by the way. So anyway, but girlfriends, glad to have you here. And I am turned up for today's interview. I met this beautiful woman on Facebook, and she just had me rolling on the floor, like literally. Like I'm like, Kristen, I told her not to cut up this morning, so we're gonna see how we get through this, because she is a hoot, 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 hoot. We put her in a hurry to the front of the line of interviews because she is about to have this baby at any time. She's due to have on the 27th, is it? C-section on
Yes,
the
the
27th?
27th.
So we could not
Yes.
delay. I said, let's get you on right now. So let us know where you're tuning in from. So anyway, I'm a homeschool mom of 18 years, homeschooling 8 children, graduated 3, 5 more to go. You all give a sister some love. Give me some hearts, drop
Yes.
some hearts, get them some thumbs. This sister been
All the
working it.
love.
All the love. I've been working it, working it, working it. So I have 10 more years to go. My husband and I plan to homeschool all the way through to the end. Married of 26 years, come this July to my one and only sweetheart. We did it one time and boom, that was it. I was like, Lord, I only can do it one, just one. And he was the one. So met him at 16, got married at 19, 26 years this year. But anyway, just a little bit about myself. But we have this beautiful, pregnant, special guest today. Her name is Christina Garrett. So, Christina, are you ready to make it happen, girl?
Yes, I am so ready. Always
Yay!
ready.
All right. With Christina, known as the praying wife of Alabama, after going viral in 2016, Christina is a pastor's wife of 11 years and homeschooling mother of 4.5 little Garretts. With a heart for the woman who is overwhelmed, tired, and frustrated in her home life and goal ambitions, Christina works to revive tired ladies through live events, group coaching, webinars, and presenting as a speaker nationwide. Washington, D.C. native, Christina has mastered the delicate art of committing to transformation in family life, homeschooling, priority management, ministry endeavors, and pursuing passion and business aspirations. A postpartum depression thriver, not survivor, Christina utilized the daily highs and lows of motherhood to rebirth her boundaries and self-care and connect with God's greater strength to manage her priorities. Now, I have just given you a small bio about Christina. So, Christina, please tell us more about yourself. You got to explain about this You went viral in 2016. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you actually got started in homeschool, my girlfriend.
Oh, wow. Well, I have been happily married to my husband for 11 years. We have 4 kids, including a set of twins. Let's see what else. My husband pastors in Alabama and Phoenix City, and we're always moving and shaking. I feel like we live in our minivan. But I am excited to be here today. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I think I'm coming from a place like when I hear you have 8 children, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, and to know that women actually can make those things happen. Running a momathon has been around for 5 years, 6-ish, since the twins were small, and really stemmed from a place of wanting to, know who you are as a person, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, and remember that God calls you by name. He doesn't just call you so-and-so's wife or so-and-so's mother, but he knows you as, as Christina. He knows you as the ladies who are watching, Leona and Ab. He knows us by our name, and we are to be that person and then incorporate into our daily life how we support and love our families as well.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That is a beautiful mission and focus. So tell us, how did you even get started in homeschooling?
I didn't want to homeschool. I was homeschooled for a couple of years. We did every kind of schooling, public, private, homeschool the last couple of years. And so when I was coming up, my mother, they prayed about each season per necessity, So when I had my own children, I wasn't necessarily I was counting down until everyone was in school. So some people feel as though I was this extra patient, illuminescent mom, not the case. And so for the years leading up to, everyone going to, my oldest was in pre-K. I'm like, ooh, dropping children off, two more to go. I can't wait for those twins to go too. And when my husband and I started negotiating, because my husband was homeschooled from late elementary through college. His mother also homeschooled his younger brother and sister, and now she's doing his nieces and nephew. So she's super. I said, "Can you move here and do that for me too?"
Wow.
But anyway, but we both had great groundings in homeschooling and understood the benefits of it, but that was never our family plan. And so even as I moved closer to that starting elementary school age, kindergarten, first grade, I started having panic attacks thinking about my kids being around me all the time. So when the twins were born, I had a 2-year old and two babies. And then it was like this,
Yeah.
rediscovering, reviving who you are. My husband would come home and the babies would be in their bed and I'm sitting in the hallway like this. And he would say, "There's a McFlurry for you in the car. Just go to
Oh.
the car, eat the ice cream." I said, "You just saved lives. Like, I just love you so much. Out of exhaustion
Sure.
and, just being on all the time." So I always tell people homeschooling was never in my plan to do. I was always ready to shoo the little people out the door and be that active public school mom. That was never my plan.
Right.
Um, and so God had to deal with me. It was like, okay, if my kids are these, wild, which they were never, like wild, but in my mind, these raging buffalo, right? And, these 4 and twins who are 2 or, 5 and 3. And so I read an article. I can't remember the exact title of the blogger, but the name of it was "I Want to Homeschool, But," and it gave everyone these reasons why they may want to homeschool, but it may be finances, it may be this, or this. So in my particular season, the article that spoke the most to me was, "I want to homeschool, but my children drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want them to be around me, but I don't know if I can take it." And I've talked to so many moms since that time where they say, I don't have the patience for it. I'm not cut out to do this. I'm not cut out to do that. And the question really is, what is it that's keeping you from being that person that can deal with it? And so in
Mm-hmm.
the article, she spoke to, do you really feel as though you putting your children somewhere else is going to help their behavior? If you can't
Mm-hmm.
control your kids at home, then how are you going to control, once there are so many other influences and other things coming in, how are you going to deal with it then? So the
Mm-hmm.
issue is not the schooling. The
That's good.
issue actually could be your parenting. And so for me, I had to take some steps back and say, okay, Christina, what do you need to change in your home to make your children likable,
That's
to make
good.
your time together valuable, to make it so that they are people that, that they're not, you don't send them out into the world as these raging buffalo. What do you need to work on and change? And so
Mm-hmm.
as a mom, I would take my maybe he was about 5 and my 3-year-old twins, and we would start walking around Walmart without you guys being locked away in a stroller or the basket. Put your hand on the basket, don't take it off. We're gonna walk through Walmart and you're gonna act like you have sense. And if you don't act like you have sense, we will have a meeting in the car. But it
It's good,
took
girl.
me being so much more intentional about my children's behavior, because me sending you anywhere is not about to help you. This is only about to make my job harder. It's only going to make my job harder. And so I never intended to be a homeschooler. I never intended to have my kids with me all the time, going everywhere, but God put me in a place of, okay, Christina, you need to work on yourself. This is not your children. This is a parenting issue. This is a parenting, and no matter where your kids go to school, because some moms are watching their children are in school. This is not a homeschool thing. This is a behavior thing. And if you can't get your kids to do right, that's no one else's problem. It's only your problem.
Girl.
I never planned on it. But God had to teach me and show me that it's not your children. It's your issue. It's a parenting issue. It's a discipline issue. It's a self-control issue. It's a get over how tired you are and get on them even if you don't feel like it, because that behavior is not going to be cute in a couple years. And so now by age 2, we don't have any more tantrums in our house because I have to be I have to be awake enough to say, you know, when you fall on the floor, we're going to cancel that out right now because that's not what we do here. We don't do that here. We'll do that here. The answer is no. We don't do it. You know, we don't do it. And so, like I said, it was never my plan to homeschool, but God had to challenge me as a person and as a human being to say, you know what, Christina, there are areas where you need to step up and do better.
Girl, you see me had to get up and do a little dance on that one. I don't even know what to say. I mean, you done took this whole homeschooling thing to a different level. Christina, you're right. You are so right. My mom is up here. My mom probably owed out and she was like, girl, say it. Because, you know, when they get older, like, y'all need to come up. What's going on with the kids? But that is so true. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Well, no, I was just agreeing with what you were saying. It's at a certain point, it's like, okay.
The issue is not your desire. A lot of times, like you said, homeschool or not, it's just like, can I handle my kids? Do I want to be around my kids? Do I want my kids to be around with them? Can I deal with their issues? And you're right. Yeah. It goes back to us and our parenting. My mantra has always been this since my oldest ones were little. My oldest one is 22. And it is, parents make good kids bad. Parents, we do. Parents make good kids bad because if we don't shape them, fashion them, train them, or whatever, they can be good as pie. They're just ready to shape me, mold me, tell me what to do. And if we don't get our junk together, then our beautiful, lovely kids turn out to be monsters. And I was on that road with my first one, and that's the truth. And that's the truth. And it does not let up when they get into their adult years. I mean, now it's a different set and you don't have such a responsibility upon them. But in other words, it continues on, this parenting game, and we just got to be on the game. And having a good village and a connection and wisdom and humble enough to say, it's not my kid's issue. It's my issue. It's me. Yeah. It's me, oh Lord, standing in need of prayer, right? It's me.
Yes.
You know? Absolutely. And while we're praying for them, we really need to be also pointing the finger at us. So that, oh girl, that was a mouthful. So, so much you got to unpack right now. Number one, I want to derail. And I want to go back and just derail for a quick little minute because I want to understand what went viral in 2016. You got to tell us that.
Oh, my God.
And then we're going to go back to the parenting. What was it?
Yes. Okay, so what happened was, you know, like I said, I've Run the Mom Thought has been around for like 6 years. Like, you know, where I was just documenting my parenting experience. I never thought it was going to be anything. I just, started a Facebook page because I started running after I had my twins and, practicing self-care, loving myself better, de-stressing, having a personal goal to work towards, all of those things. And so I know there's a recent movement of be an Instagram influencer and all of these kind of fantastic things. And, everybody's trying to do that. But this is 2018, so let's say a year and a couple months ago, we were out with some family members celebrating for a family, just get together, celebrating my little sister-in-law. And my husband decided that he was going to go across the street to holler at a preacher friend of his. And as he was going across the street, a young lady was coming from across the way, did not see him, and hit him with her car. And he, hit the car, rolled up, cracked her windshield, rolled back down, the full shebang. To think of he called me on the phone from inside the restaurant, and they said, yeah, you all have an emergency outside, you need to come outside. I was not expecting to see my handsome 6-foot chocolate husband laying in the street not moving.
Oh,
And to, I was looking at him, like, sir, like we always joke with each other. I've given him way more life scares than he's ever given me. Thank you, Jesus. And so I said, are you paying me back? Like, is this how we, are you trying to get back at me? This is what we do. But that morning I was on the phone with a good friend of mine who I think is still watching, my friend Leona. And I told her, I said, I haven't spent time with the Lord this morning. I need to get off the phone because we were doing our normal morning chit chat, washing dishes and, wrangling children. And I told her, I said, I need to hang up with you and just go spend some time in prayer. And so I went in my room, I closed the door, I was praying, I got out my Power of Praying white book. And depending on the atmosphere of the day, I pull whichever prayers out I know are the most pertinent at the time. But the ones that I always pray are over his health and his safety.
okay.
Every time, like, over his health and his safety. And so that particular morning, I knew for a fact that I had said, God, watch over my husband, keep him safe as he's out doing all these kind of things in the car. In the prayer, in her book, it says in cars and planes and everywhere. And now I have to add outside a car when he's walking, wherever he's going. Everyone, it's my birthday. It's my birthday, and people want to call me and say happy birthday.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I apologize.
Yes. Happy birthday, Christina. Everybody tell Christina happy birthday.
You want to call me, so sorry. But that's a particular one that I always have to use now. It's like, Lord, watch over my husband wherever he is, whatever he's doing, keep him safe. Yeah. Have your angels surrounding him. So I knew that morning that I had prayed for his safety. So now I walk out, walking outside and standing in the middle of the street, this busy like shopping center, mall type area. Thank you, Angel. And looking at my rock laying in the street, my human rock laying in the street. And everyone, as I'm walking down the thing, people are screaming. And I'm like, what am I looking at right now? And to see him there, I was a little jarred, but then I remember, like, the Holy Spirit brought to my mind that I had prayed that morning. And you prayed over his safety that morning. And the Lord reminded me the only reason this is not worse is because you prayed that morning. Like, this was going to happen anyway. Like, this was going to happen. But the only reason it wasn't as bad as it could be was because you prayed that morning. And so the Lord, the Lord just brought such a sense of peace. Like, it was literally, he got hit by the car, but somehow, some kind of way, every person that was hanging out in the parking lot it was a Friday night, hanging out in the parking lot of Olive Garden was a first responder, of retired firemen, nurses. The woman that worked at the Olive Garden was a CNA. Like, it was crazy, and all these people coming out. And in my fog, thought that the ambulance and there were first responders there. They weren't even there yet. But it was like these angels, like, we don't even know who these people are, where they went, none of this. But we're there supporting his head, telling him not to move his body, doing this. And it was maybe 5 or 10 minutes later when the ambulance actually arrived. But there were all these people around him that were health professionals supporting him and helping him and doing all this kind of stuff. And so you just felt the peace and the Spirit of God. So then the next day I went, just did a Facebook Live for like 10 minutes and said, you know what? Prayer works, and you have to cover your family with prayer. You have to invite the Lord into circumstances because you just don't know what the day holds. And even if you just need grace to tackle whatever it is that's coming to you, Lord, give me grace and strength to deal with. You knew this was going to happen today, God. So give me the strength and the grace to deal with whatever it is that's coming. I don't know what's coming, but give me grace to deal with it. And somehow, some kind of way, evidently, I do Facebook Lives all the time, or did, and somehow that post took wings, and it was like 9 million views. Like, I don't even know where all these people came from, But I think what God really wanted to be heard, that you have to talk to me in the morning,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
message was what God wanted to be shared. And so it was on Fox
Wow.
News and a whole bunch of other places that people are sending me stuff from all over the country. Like, yeah, you're on the news in my state. And I'm really, I didn't even, I didn't even know or
Wow.
realize that that's what. But ultimately, there's nothing that Christina could have done. So many times we put effort into certain things, and sometimes God just wants to, what God really wants to be heard is what's going to make Him the loudest,
Yeah.
and make His name the greatest. So
That is beautiful.
yeah, it was a
Wow. Wow.
viral on accident, literally,
Wow, that's
literally.
amazing. So we have a viral superstar with us. You all, this is Christina
It wasn't
Garrett
my work.
out of
That's all I can say
Alabama.
is it wasn't my work.
Woo, she is
It
out of
wasn't my
Alabama.
work.
This mama's about to have her number 4 baby at any time. Actually, scheduled for the number 5. I'm
Wow.
sorry, I missed one. You didn't. Yeah, number 5 on the 27th. You all, this is Christina Garrett.
Yeah.
You all, please hit the share button and get this out. We're about to dive in a lot deeper with some questions. She got to come back and wrap right back around and tell us what she did in her parenting and what made the difference in her heart with homeschooling, because she's still homeschooling, y'all,
Yeah.
and she's in for it.
Yes, I
She's in
am.
for it for a good
Yes,
little
I
while.
am.
So you all hit the share button, get this out to other groups. I can't because I'm in jail right now on Facebook. So I can't share it to groups, but you all share it. And please get to Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling Facebook page and be sure to like and follow us there. But anyway, let's dive in, Christina.
Yes.
Please, please, please give us your wisdom. Drop some bombs. Give us some nuggets, please, on this
Ah,
parenting, in which God, what did He do to speak to your heart that changed your perspective, your love, your drive for your children? What did it? Tell us. We're taking notes. I
wow.
got notes right
Well,
here. Share it.
I recently finished my ebook that's called Frustration to Fruition. And it's really stemmed from a place of being a walking frustrated time bomb. I think a lot of moms, especially those who are around their kids most of the time. I read a study once that talked about how moms that work part-time are are more responsive to their children's cries than stay-at-home moms. And so,
Hmm.
we're like, because we hear it all the time. Like, I'll hear a crash and a cry, and it's like, okay, depending on how long the break is in between the will determine if I get up off my chair and go see what happened, right? So,
That right
I
there.
think that there's right there. So I think that there is a certain responsiveness that after 2 hours or something, like, after a couple moments or time with your children, you you know kind of dwindle a little bit, and you're not as present as we could be. I will add that after my oldest son was born, with him, we were on it with everything behaviorally, and talking and structuring and certain things, and my husband helped me to amp up how I handle things disciplinary wise. But once we had twins, it was like, all we want to do is sleep. Please, God, just let me sleep. That's all I want is sleep. And they got away with more stuff than my first child did. So with you, you were saying your first little one. And for me, it was like those twins. And it's still, even now to this day, they just a little mouthier than my oldest son, who, had that certain structure. But one of the things that I had to change was to realize that those are my children. The good, the not so good, whatever I tolerate or don't tolerate, those are my babies. If people can come over and babysit for me, if they can't, those are my babies. If wherever they decide to go to school, whatever fruitfulness comes from their life, God has given those children to me to care for and teach and lead and discipline. And so ultimately, one of the biggest things that I had to shift for myself personally was realizing that the high and the low was depending on me. It was depending on me. And so however much my children may talk back, if I don't tell them not to do it, or there's a consequence for this action, they're going to keep on doing it. if they don't have to clean up or that I don't follow through to make sure, because I have a thing about my kitchen. Like you were talking about your kitchen, like I have a thing about my kitchen. But then as I was working on a chore chart for my children yesterday, which is part of the ebook or whatever, was part of something that you're supposed to do. Work on a chore chart for your kids so you're not doing everything and you're not trying to be superwoman and end up burned out. Okay, so that means I need to relinquish a little bit and at least let you put some stuff away and wipe counters and do other things and take my control freak off of and take my control freak off display. And so in terms of parenting, I had to become more flexible. I had to address disciplinary problems when they showed up. And then I had to realize that whether I have help or I don't have help that particular day. My husband works 9 to 9. He pastors. He's in school. So some days he can be here, and some days he can't. And so even on those days that he can't, okay, Christina, how are you going to handle what's going on in the day? Okay, and then I also a survivalist technique I started implementing every single day is quiet time. Every day is quiet time. So
For the
at
kids.
first, for the kids and for me too,
Okay.
we're taking a time out.
Everybody.
After 1:30 in the afternoon, I need a break. My kids wake up early no matter what time they go to bed. After 1:30 or 2 o'clock, it's quiet time. Mama needs a break. And so every day, it started when they were small. They would play in their room for a couple hours. Now we have 4, so that's their Netflix time. They can turn on something educational and watch a documentary or Magic School Bus or whatever on Netflix for a little while. I take my lunch. I come in my room. I close my door. I watch something grown up, and I just breathe for an hour or two. And that has saved me in terms of how I structure my day. So in the morning, it's tidying up and homeschooling. And then in the afternoon, it's like, okay, we're dwindling down. We may go outside and play for a while. We may clean up and tidy up again. Mom's making dinner, and we're counting down the minutes until Daddy walks in the door. But it helped for me to really take that time and, take care of myself, and breathe. And my kids go to bed early, so about 7 o'clock. At about 7, it's like, okay, they don't go to sleep until 9 or 10 at least. But they're in their room. I don't want to see you. I've been with you all day. I do love you. You're my baby, but don't come out no more. Don't come out anymore. And taking that time and owning your hours, if that makes sense. Re-owning your time.
Yes. That is good stuff. Thank you for those nuggets. Those are your parenting, your basic parenting, get it done stuff, and that's it. And so we have to be on top of that because, like you said, we are with our kids all day long. So you want to deal with the junk all day, then you don't train and discipline and bring correction when needed. And then you're going to deal with the junk all day. But if you don't want that to be your story and your day-to-day routine, then we got to nip those things in the bud almost continually. So you're almost always in this parenting mode for sure. I mean, you got to be on top of it. So in order to be on top of it, we got to be our best selves, as much as rested, self-care, in our right mind, had a cup of coffee if you need that. Or a glass of wine if you need that. I don't know if you do that in the morning, but whatever you need, you got to do that for your school. Yeah, before school start. Mine used to be a bubble bath every morning, and my garden tub be like, but you got to do what you got to do so you can be on top of what you need to be on top of in love and not in angst and not all of that good stuff.
Yes.
So anyway, very good stuff. Thank you so much for that, Christina. So again, girlfriends, we got Christina Garrett on here from Alabama, pastor's wife, viral superstar, I guess you could say, on Facebook. I can't wait to see that video. I don't know. I may have seen it. But anywho, let's dive into some deeper questions. Now, take us to, this is my favorite question. Take us, because this shows us all that nobody, again, this is one of my mantras. No one gets a ticket to perfect. No one. I don't care how beautiful we are, how rich we are, how unrich we are, whatever. How many kids you have, whatever. No one gets a ticket to perfect, right? So tell us your worst day of homeschooling that you almost went on and sent those kids on to to the faux promised land of
To the
public school.
moon.
Faux, F-A-U-X, faux. The faux promised land of public schooling, you almost sent them on off. But you didn't. And you
Mm,
stuck in there. And that's
mm,
why you're this amazing homeschooling mom you are this many years later. Tell us that worst day.
mm.
What it looked like.
Okay, this worst day can creep up at any time, but it usually happens with my daughter. I have one girl, three boys, one girl. And my one girl is the same as those three boys. When you think about drama and extra, every bit of all of this that y'all see me do, she's like triple that. And so with all the love that I have for her, she's my kismet spirit. And because she's just like her mom, I just want to like she's that child that, she does things her own way, and then she will and then she'll end up, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of the perfect way to describe it. But she does things her own way. She's my stargazer child, who would just rather play in the makeup and do everything than read, sometimes. And we have these days. Some days she's on it, boom, 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 boom. And then other days it's like at house. And it's like, Naya, you just read it. You just sounded it out correctly. Why can't, well, Mama, I can't. Or I'm not able to do this. I'm not able, and I had to ask her, who told you that you can't? Like, that's not even a Garrett term. We don't even coin the term can't. Like, I, as a person, am unable to do something. And so,
Love it.
I had to ask her, and this once again a thing where we had a really bad day and she's crying and all this stuff. And I'm like, really? And so I had read a parenting book some time ago. I don't remember the name of it, but there was a chapter that said, I would be less angry if you all were better behaved. And once again, it's taking the notion of, okay, you can have these extra children, you can have these children with these issues, but ultimately you can't blame this person that's 3 feet tall for your lack of discipline as a 5'5" mama. Okay, like you will not blame the 2-year old for for your attitude or your demeanor or your lack of self-control. So anyway, I asked my daughter, I said, Naya, has mom ever made you feel like you couldn't do something? Or was there some kind of way that I emotionally transferred onto you that you had an issue with this, or this was a problem, or and she was like, well, sometimes you get angry with me if I don't do this, or if I don't whatever, whatever. And I had to pull in. I can't say, well, if you were better in this way, I wouldn't be so mad. How about you just stop being mad? And so I think the hardest parenting days where you really want to throw in the towel is you wonder to yourself, do I have the emotional capacity
Mm.
to do for you what you need? And sometimes I told her, I think she's the public school child. Like, she's the one that might have to go. The boys, they're good to go, good attitudes most of the time. And she's just the one that God is using to make me more like him. That's what I'm going. She's the one that God is using to make me more like him. I will add that.
Okay, I got you. I'll follow you. So any given day, if Naya just try to be extra, then you're like, she might be the one. Okay.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
She's the one.
conversely, tell us along this journey, take us to your best day at
Mm.
homeschool that just brought you to tears, warmed your heart, said this is all worth it. These my babies. These my babies. I
Oh.
want to be with them in school. And tell us that day, Christina.
Thankfully, there are so many more of those days than the reverse. Thankfully, there are so many more of those days. I think those days kick in when it's cold and rainy outside and I can hear the public school kids walking to the bus stop. And sometimes my children are up, sometimes they're not, but the blissful experience of us being in the house, warm and bundled up, and and it's cold, and I'm like, you guys see, the blessing, the favor that you have, that you
Mm,
guys get to stay at home and learn at the house, and every now and then they're like, we have so much work to do. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you guys don't have anything to do compared to, they go sit all day long and then come home, they have homework too, and activities and all this other kind of stuff, that you guys, we're done with school by 1 o'clock, by 1 o'clock, with time for lunch, whatever, 9 times out of 10. If it ain't done by lunchtime, you may have to look at it later, maybe, but most of
mm-hmm.
the 9 times out of 10, that's not how we operate. And so, the whole notion of that peace and flexibility and relaxation that we have. And I really appreciate my husband, because he tries to make sure he takes a lot of personal days. So Mondays, Tuesdays, and we have Bible study and twice on Wednesday at noon and at 7. And so on Wednesdays, we head out to the city where our church is, about 40 minutes from our house, give or take. But we stay out there all day long, and we go eat, and we school at the church for a couple hours, and then we go and just sit in Barnes and Noble and breathe. We sit in a restaurant, whatever that is. But that relaxing flexibility, that for me is everything. I'll homeschool through all the thunderstorms in the world for us to not have to worry about, the extra. I told someone, she's a teacher too. I said, I feel like it's more work for me to put my kids in school than it is for me to keep them at home. She said, really? Like, yeah, to have to get everybody dressed while it's still dark, and then you got to come home. I got to do homework with all of y'all too. Like, that seems like a lot of work as far as I'm concerned, and for us, I do it with the twins. They're in second grade, and with my oldest, he's in fourth grade. Listen, we're coasting, so I have, I just never wanted to have to, I'm working really hard to undo the rushed feeling, that feeling of rushing through life. And so
Yeah.
for me, that best homeschool day is a flexible day where, we're in the house, and I tell my husband, thank you, babe, for, how hard you work so that we can have this life. When you travel, we can go. When things need to happen, we can go along with you. And have that flexibility. That's everything
Yes.
as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. Worth every struggle. It's worth every single struggle.
Oh, beautiful. I agree with you. That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, we are here at the time of the show where we're going to get to some quick questions for those of you who are just joining us. Hey, Sunny. Hey, Shiva and Damon. Woo! We have pregnant mama Christina Garrett in the show today from Alabama, and you all will have to go back and rewind, replay this, get your
Yeah.
notebook and pen. These are some notes you want to take. I mean, she is putting down some great words of encouragement, insights,
Bless
and you
you.
just need to know it. And please go ahead and hit the share button, get it shared out. We're coming to the end of our show where we're going to ask some quick questions to just to pick your brain. Some questions just to pick your brain, so your answers can be
Okay.
quick, 1 or 2 lines.
Okay.
Give us an answer. So, what is your favorite quote, Christina, that has helped you through this homeschooling journey?
My favorite quote would be a Bible scripture, Proverbs 14, verse 1. It says, a wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands.
Mm. You can
Don't
just
be the one
unpack
that
that
messes
for
your
a
house
couple.
up.
Give us a couple of sentences. Unpack that. Go ahead. Wise woman.
Well, God had to show me that it's up to me to set the atmosphere. That however good things are or however bad things are, I can be in control of that. And a lot of times it takes me saying, God, waking up in the morning and saying, Lord, which one am I going to be? Am I going to be the wise woman who's going to build, or am I going to use my hands to mess stuff up today? And trying to be the first as much as possible.
That's good. Proverbs 14:1. Okay. Do you plan to homeschool all the way through to the end and graduate them through high school?
At the moment, I'm going to say yes. At the moment, I'm saying yes. But we'll pray about it during high school, maybe, you know. But I can't imagine them wanting to go.
Okay. All right. Tell us, Christina, what curriculum or book do you have in your home library that you feel that every home must have this book? that's in your library?
I am I would say a freestyle homeschool mom. I literally look up what do my children need to learn in this grade, and we work on learning that. So the book that I would say would be those gigantimous workbooks that come at Books A Million or Barnes and Noble, depending on the style that you like. But they're like a big curriculum book that's like 300 pages, and whether you feel like sitting down, you don't. There's something in there that you can put in front of your child to say, "Hey, listen, we don't want your brain cells to melt away on this day, so do this work right here." You can build your curriculum out of it, or you can do it as a freestyle day.
Gotcha. Okay, good deal. What is the best piece of advice you have received during this homeschooling journey, Christina?
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Good, good, good. What is your favorite resource or online resource or app or video or something like that that you use that's in your homeschool that you're like, oh, I cannot be without this. Woo!
Oh, favorite resource. Okay. If you're a homeschooling, especially if you're a mom of color, the Black Homeschool Mom, African American Homeschool Mom Facebook group, there's like 5,000 women in there with every style of homeschooling. And if I have any kind of question, there's always someone with an answer or some kind of encouragement to talk you off the ledge.
That's another thing someone has just mentioned too as an important app of life. So that I agree.
I love them.
Can't wait till I can start placing in there again. All right, name a favorite book that you read when you were considering homeschooling and got started that you feel everyone should have or know about.
Oh, favorite book. Or I don't know if there's a book on homeschooling,
Or
and I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Or article.
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The article, 2 articles. Number 1 is called Blueberries and Rats. It is I know it's random, but it's a blog post about motherhood and anger, and talking about how you need to work on controlling the hidden sin that's in your heart that you may not realize is there. But when you have these sudden bursts of motherhood fervor that's not so attractive that you wouldn't want on on the play that about your life on Judgment Day, when you have those sudden bursts, that's evidence of sin in your heart. And I was like oh my God. So that for me was epic. And then the one, I want to homeschool, but my kids drive me crazy. Those 2 are survival posts that I relate to almost everybody.
Good deal. Okay. Now tell us, what is something that's in the Garrett homeschool that's unique, that you all have created, that you know, hey, you are proud of what we have implemented into this homeschooling home right here?
Nonchalantness. Is that a word?
Unpack it.
Yeah, well, okay. I would add in terms of embracing flexibility, taking away the thief of joy, which is comparing yourself to how other people do things, and then realizing that I do have time, even if I need June, July, and August to get you caught up. I have time to work on that, because regardless of how you see things on the flip side, the public school kids are sometimes ahead, sometimes behind in certain subjects and all these other kind of things. But you think that everyone else is doing it better than you, when in reality, you're doing it great too.
Good stuff. Good. Woo. Thank you. Well, Christina, you guys, girlfriends, we are at the end of the show, and we are here at the last question, the $1 million question. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, Christina, if you had to start all over again, go back to day 1 of your homeschooling journey, but you have all your current wisdom, knowledge, skills, convictions, insights, what would be the first thing you would ensure that you implement, or something that you would change to get your new schooling journey on the right track?
I would declutter my house. And I know that seems like it has absolutely nothing to do with homeschooling, but it does. And I correlate all of that to the mental clutter, anxiety, and frustration that comes from things not being set up the way you want them to environmentally. And therefore, you're not productive in the most important areas of your life because you're dwindling with all this other stuff, or your mind is cluttered because of other things. And that produces anxiety and frustration. You feel overwhelmed because things aren't the way you want them. All these other kind of things. I would seriously get rid of so much stuff. This is what I've been doing doing now the last year is getting rid of bags and bags of stuff, because when your home is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. You're fussing at your kids over these two little pieces of lint that are in the carpet because stuff is not the way that you want them to be. Get rid of stuff, lighten your load. Less is more. I'm not saying become a minimalist with two pairs of pants, but I am saying that, you can move things out of the way so that when you sit down to do schooling in the morning, you feel clear and open, and you can strategize properly with an open mind.
Woo, that is good stuff. Good stuff. Listen, Christina, thank you for sharing that. Listen, any last words of advice you want to share with these girlfriends? And please let us know what your hands are involved in that we must know about as far as it relates to homeschooling or being a woman in general. And number 3, will you please also let us know how we can contact you if we want to continue the discussion or ask questions or just stay connected to what you're doing, girlfriend?
Absolutely. Well, I'll do the last first. You can find me online at the Mamathon Diaries, or runningamamathon.com. We have a Facebook group. We have all kind of awesome sources, including a yearly retreat this year that's going to be in September, where we just kind of are going to get away, just the women, to the beach and refresh and breathe, and really take that self-care time. What's next? What do we have our hands in? The retreat, of course. I love to book power hours with moms to talk about transforming their frustration to fruition, which comes with a copy of the ebook, which is a 21-day boot camp for busy divas on the move who want to get their home life and their family teamwork and communication together. Last but not least, I just want to tell all of you that the life that you want, you can have. The life you want, you can have, but it's going to take you being intentional and disciplined to say, you know what, if this is what I want to see at the end of the day, the end of the week, or the end of the quarter, I have to put work in today to see a beautiful finish line, to go to bed at night and feel like I've been successful, to not feel like I'm drowning. I have to be intentional about forming these and making this time and making my space what I want it to be. It's not just going to happen. We have to do it on purpose.
Good stuff. Girlfriends, you have been hanging out with Christina Garrett. Now listen, you are the average of the 5 people you hang with. And you all just been hanging with Christina from Alabama. Woo-hoo! So listen, keep up the momentum and connect and grow your village with those homeschooling mamas who's going to make a positive impact on you, your homeschooling, and your children. It is so important. Just remember that to teach a child is to touch a life. And as we homeschool, we not only touch a life, we shape the future through our efforts of homeschooling. And we must keep making this positive impact day after day and year after year. It's what we do. So be sure, all my girlfriends on here, to go over to Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. That's an S and then apostrophe. Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling with Angela Jordan Perry. Go ahead and follow that page, and so that when we go live, you can get these notifications. You can also friend me on Facebook. I have an open door policy. Friend me so that you can get these notifications when we go live. So, Girlfriends to Homeschooling is grateful to you, Christina, and we appreciate you
so
taking
much.
time on your birthday. You all give her some happy birthday shout outs. Woo, happy
Thank
birthday.
you. My pleasure.
Yes.
Okay, what a wonderful
day. Thank you. I'm so glad you had this time to spend with us. We're so grateful for your time, just to make a positive impact on us and on our homeschooling and on thousands of homeschoolers around the world. So God bless you. I'm so delighted to meet your acquaintance and grow in friendship together.
Yes.
We're going to pray. You all remember her baby delivery on the 27th, scheduled for a C-section. You all remember that day. Mark it on your calendar. So prayers could be going up and good wishes and good
Amen. Thank you
vibes
so
being
much.
sent all over there to Alabama. Okay. So
Yeah.
girlfriends, I hope you found this interesting, this interview very interesting, uplifting, encouraging, delightful for your day, your homeschooling journey. You have got to stay connected so you can keep getting these interviews. So you can move on like, okay, let me get suited up. I'm ready for the day. No anger. No little 3-foot kid gonna make me angry. No, I'm the mama. Listen,
Yes.
stay connected to these interviews. These mamas are putting it down, and it's just a privilege to be a part of this and to see what they're doing. Now you go out, encourage another homeschooling mom today, and be
Mhm.
the positive impact that they are looking for. Thank you very
Yes.
much again. This is Angela Jordan Parrott, Girlfriends' Guide to Homeschooling. You all have a great day. We'll be back at 1 o'clock with
Thank
Natalie Hawkins for
you.
her interview today. So come back. This is Eastern Standard Time. You all have a blessed one. It's my delight to be with you and my delight to serve you all and reach and make a positive impact on thousands of homeschoolers worldwide. Take care.
Mhm.
Until next time.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.